Yeah, it's not a clipboard.
I know I put it not. It was out of stuff, and they didn't put enough.
Supposed to be 100 degrees today.
What's that?
100 degrees.
For today?
Yeah, it's supposed to be
Oh.
heat wave started. It was 98
I don't know if
yesterday.
I remember happening with you too much.
I don't either. I thought usually around July, but I guess that means we're gonna have more hurricanes in Florida.
Of course. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get rid of this. Anyway. Yeah, you know, I'll stay in. I mean, yesterday was pretty rough, I thought.
I was down in Georgia. It was.
You're in Georgia?
Yeah, my family's in Georgia too, so I was down in family with my family. And,
This weekend?
I came back.
Did you drive?
Yeah.
Oh,
Give me a chance to relax, think, relate to things.
Is that good?
It was great. Had a good time.
It's good to think?
Yeah, it's good to think sometimes,
Well,
see where you're
some people
going.
try not to.
Huh?
Some people try not to.
Yeah, like my brother who I just got through seeing, he tried not to think, He has a company making a lot of money, but he's not wise with the money management part.
People are funny with their money, isn't it? It's amazing.
I'm like,
it's an interesting human thing that the more you get, the more you feel like you just.
motorcycle, boat, car. You don't do none of these things. I mean, for what?
Just go rent it when you rent one when you want, I guess.
You have no insurance. You're not paying employer insurance where if you retire or something happens, you got money to pay. You have no long-term, no short-term disability. You have none of that umbrella for your business. All you have is I make money, I spend money. I make money, I spend money. That's feast of family. You're not going to live like that.
Yeah.
Then when you get older, you want someone to take care of you. Like who?
I know.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're going to get on the system. It won't be no money. I'm just saying. You might want to save some money.
Right.
So I got a card downstairs from the investment banker downstairs.
Yeah. I hear that you have to watch that. You have to watch. So, for example, if you get an investment banker from Wells Fargo, they're going to want you to invest in Wells Fargo or whatever they
their products.
Versus
they can't steer you, right?
Versus someone who just they don't. Oh, hey, but
they try to keep the money in house.
Or they just try to teach you stuff versus they're going to make any money off. They're going to make money off you for teaching you helping you what to do. They're not going to make money off of you because of where you go with it.
Right, and that's what the primary reason for me coming to you is to make money with my money.
Yeah, right.
So,
but they're not going to make money off of you. They're
not going to let you make money.
And expertise is being paid for, not the fact that they're
I
going
can
to
do my own research
by investing here. So
right.
Here. I don't know. It blows my mind a little bit because it just there's so much emphasis on investing and things like that, and I'll be honest with you, I don't understand it because I mean, I guess I don't understand I don't know what I don't know, I guess, but I mean, I see people who make pretty decent money and they're worried about retiring, and I'm thinking, well, you get retired, I mean, you get Social Security. That's supposed to be your buffer. Everybody thinks of that as your buffer, I guess. I look
at it as I retired, and what I made 100% off of, I only get half now. And if it took me 100% to live when I was working, how could I live off of half?
Oh, that's a great way of looking at it.
So I have to, my mother and my father, so I have to have some income,
about that.
3 streams of income coming in, so I'm protected. So I have 3. So if I didn't have more than 3 streams of income, and the way the economy is going, because my family in Florida is telling me all the time, my friends, that it's so expensive for them. A 1-bedroom apartment in Tampa now is $1,800. When back it was $850 a couple
years. This is what COVID did.
Right.
This is what COVID did.
They're trying to.
It happen.
They're trying to make them go back down. They're coming out some kind of.
I hope they do because it's.
They're killing people.
COVID did it. I think the guy.
Price gouge.
That's right, because they maybe lost money during COVID, I'm thinking, because people got away with, even though they probably could have paid, they got away with not
right, for 2 years.
Yes.
I never got down.
Guys got it back, and then they just didn't go down again.
Right.
I don't think that's inflation. I think it's COVID.
Price gouging.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the cars went up like, I was going to buy F-150. I think it went up $20,000 during COVID from Navy Federal. It was like 20,000 more. I'll wait.
During COVID.
The prices on trucks went up when it
They
started
did?
coming. Yes, I was going to buy a truck from the Navy Federal over here.
Oh.
It was like, well, the price now is. I went up to the Ford place on Broad. I was like, no, I'm good. I'll wait till the price goes down.
Did they?
Not really, just a little bit.
Yeah, I've heard.
Just to I please you.
That's what I'm saying.
But before then, it was like 60,000. Now it's 85. Same truck. So that was about 2 years ago. So I decided I'm gonna wait. I'll probably go lease one. You know, better.
Okay. How you doing otherwise?
Man, I'm doing okay. Like I'm catching allergies or something. I don't know what. I think it's from the shot though. My eyes itch.
Where'd you get that booster or some kind of booster?
You know, they always the VA. You know, and plus they're Homeland Security, so you got to have the card. But I'm hoping they change that because I don't want to take it no more.
Oh, really?
I saw a guy the guy who does the autopsy for the government gave a hearing before Congress where he said all the remains he looked at had some kind of
Oh my God.
from in your heart from the COVID shot. And he was saying, and if you want an expert, I am the expert. I'm the one that does this, and nobody could answer him.
Oh wow.
Along with Rand Paul was like, oh my God, I done took like 7 of those things.
Yeah, and I know somebody who took one of those stress tests just because they take and all their numbers were great, and then they had a heart attack. But they didn't take it. I don't think.
The COVID?
I don't think they took it. I don't think they took it.
I had some horror
Good
stories.
point. I don't know. Anyway.
My doctor, who does my chiropractic and wellness for my back, her mother, perfectly healthy, took the COVID shot. She was dead 2 months later.
You what?
COVID shot.
No, I heard.
She does my wellness for me, my chiropractic treatment. Her mother took the shot in South Carolina, was dead 2 months later. And she could, as a doctor, it bothers her that she couldn't save her mother. You know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What about the people who lost jobs over it?
Yeah, people got put out the military, lost their job with the government. So you know, either you take the shot or you out. I had no choice in the military.
Oh, they had nurses and
A lot of nurses quit and did something else.
Well, they lost their jobs.
Right.
I mean, how do you tell people
I think that was really a violation of freedom. Our freedom. You should be able to. What's going in your body should be your concern. Even though or give me. Now, if you think about it, the little cloth mask we had to wear.
Yeah.
If when I painted, you have to have an oxygen mask, a protector when you was painting, which was more protective than the cotton. So why didn't we have something more than what we had? It didn't make sense to me. It was like money.
I mean, I know everything hit fast. I mean, the first time you have a mass thing like that, you do what you can, but then later you're not. I don't know.
Yeah, it started back in October. I was in school, VCU. I had to do a class on a pandemic, and we had in place an office for pandemic response. They stopped that office. Right when they stopped that office, that's when pandemic was found to be in China. We thought it was just from the fish market, the meat market, where they had meat hanging over meat and it would drip down to the meat. So they thought that was the cause of it. Then they started having these people in Wuhan die. A lot of people. And then I wrote a paper on that for the FBI guy.
That's interesting.
What? And I was like, that's a problem. Then when it started hitting America, people was flying backwards and forth. They didn't close the borders till after it was in America.
Don't get me started.
Yeah.
Like I said, I tell you, I don't pick a party. I just look at when you don't pick a party, and you look at the issues. You really do. You're able to look at it more objectively. When people get into their sides, they're skewed.
They're biased, prejudiced.
They're biased automatically. So if you don't look, I just look at each issue. I don't care about the person. I don't care about I just care about what the person's doing at this point. We used to care about, like when Reagan was around and, back.
Right and
way
wrong.
back. You kind of cared, you wanted the whole package, and it was nice. But nowadays, I mean, since Clinton.
It's partisan.
Clinton and going upward, I mean,
Bush.
You can't look at character. So, unfortunately. But yeah, if you look at, so my point is that, I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know, where we're off from.
You're on the 18th hole, you got to make this putt to win.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, you know, we
Oh, the open border. I mean, again, I'm just, as a person who just looks at each issue, I'm trying to figure out how you can preach vaccinations, all the stuff that went with COVID, and then you just open a border. That makes no, does that
Terrorists
make any sense to you? It
Home-
makes no
Homeland
sense to me.
Security, emergency preparedness. Terrorists can walk across the border. They got coyotes bringing people across for money. You got drugs coming in. You build a wall that they can go under. So what we need to
No,
do is,
not an underwall, yeah. Oh, under, yeah, but tunnels.
because they got tunnels.
Yeah.
They've been having in San Diego and
Yeah.
Texas. We got satellites that can read a golf ball on a golf course. Put our military equipment in place to protect our borders. We got enough stuff. I mean, to stop anybody. I've seen it.
An electric fence. Oh, that's right. You gotta go under.
Yeah. But we got a satellites that
Oh, yeah.
been
There's
picking.
enough now you can
If
do
I
it.
used to get on the phone and call, I could see what the satellite. The guy had the satellite with us, and I recon it to him. We can pick up anything. So you can pick up like the subs now. They're using submarines now. You can pick them up by putting the buoys out in the water. They got the sonar tracking.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
really,
Oh,
we
yeah.
can really
Yeah,
beef up
yeah,
our border.
yeah, you're right.
But we don't want to beef up the border. They said that I did a report that if out of every $4 American, $5 American, 4 came from illegal activity.
Oh my gosh.
4. So someone is making some money, but
And
it's
why
not
are you
me.
putting people up in a hotel? I mean, there's a lot that I just never
But
really.
they
I'm
really
not
need-
being political. I'm not being political. It just doesn't make sense.
The money doesn't add up.
Sense.
You know, when they had the hurricanes, and I was in Texas, we had Hurricane Katrina, and there was a lot of flooding. So FEMA put people up in trailers. Then when they ran out of trailers, they put them in hotels. The hotels were
Yeah,
charging
see.
like $100 a day. Then they went up to like $150. So they put a cap on
They
that.
gouged you.
Right, they put a cap on it. But then some people stayed there for like 3-4 years.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
right. That's one of my projects in Homeland Security, FEMA. Yeah, so I was like, man, so we want to wait, but I can't get paid.
I,
If you was an immigrant and came on with your family a couple of years ago in the 70s, if it was 5 people in your family, each one of you got $50,000 to start your own business. I can't get a loan from the SBA to start my own business. I was in the military. I'm like, make it make sense to me. So they started jewelry shops, brought stuff over from Vietnam. So a lot of people who got wealthy got a hand up from the government for free. Make it make sense to me.
serious crazy.
You know,
Oh,
but it's, you know, it is. My paper on Christian realism I wrote this weekend about how we believe in sin, we believe in goodness, but yet we don't believe in the human rights. We just believe in you can do good if you want to do good, you can do bad if you want to do bad, and it's always going to be conflict. That's the paper I was writing this weekend. It's always going to be conflict. So how do we handle that? What do we do? That was my question on my paper, so I'm writing it. They got to finish. But
And this is for what class?
it's for it's for humanities, for law. It's the international human rights regime. We call them regimes. They call us democracies, but it's the same thing, just a different name.
Mm-hmm.
The human law that we have in place for the Geneva Convention, they don't really work. It's no enforcement. You got a law, but it's no enforcement. They did it on purpose, and the terms are vague. So they can get away with stuff, and you can't really put them in jail because I assume that to mean this. That is a defense they're using. I didn't know it meant this because the U.S. Supreme Court, when they make a decision or they write laws in Congress, they leave them vague for future generations so to fit in. But they make it so vague that if I did something that was a crime, I can get away with it until you go in and write another law to put in there. Grandfather. So that's what I was writing about this week. So we have to do better.
Now with this other crap going on.
We got a war with Iran.
Well, they've been, I don't know, I don't think people, I think generally speaking, and I'm included in this, I don't know enough to really comment because people don't do research. They just look at headlines, they look at whatever bias one's going on. They don't, you gotta know history here. And things happen for a reason.
1979, the Shah.
So how do you,
1979, 78, Shah of Iran was
I remember that.
put out of power.
Yeah, I remember that.
Before he got put out of power, the U.S. government, as a gift to him so we can get a presence in the Middle East, gave him a genuine working printing press that printed $100 bills, any kind of bill you want to make, they gave them the press. That started counterfeiting coming from the Middle East. The same money they used to buy weapons was made with the press that we gave them.
Oh my gosh.
We gave them, when we went to rescue the hostages in
Are you
1979.
kidding me?
1979, never forget this long as I live. Joint Task Force, DRF-1.
Was that the first Bush? The father Bush?
Yeah, 79. No, that was Reagan.
Reagan.
It was Reagan. He beat Jimmy Carter because he talked about human rights. Jimmy Carter talked about it a little bit, but he talked about it more about Reaganomics. Bush, the father, was working for the CIA down in Panama when I was in Panama, Central America. He became the vice president.
Okay.
So now you got the former director of the CIA, along with Reagan, who was a great orator, and he went back to try to change some things, but because they kidnapped the hostages right before he became for the president, that was around July, October. Hubbard got killed in July. It happened right about that time. It was crazy. We didn't get paid in October the 1st. Our checks didn't come in the military because Congress held up the money. I never forget this, like yesterday. Then they finally had to come in and release our money because a lot of people didn't want to go fight without money. You got wives and kids.
Right.
I never heard of that before in my life.
Wow.
There's something they never really talk about, but I could write about it because I was there. And
Wow.
then with the helicopter we had for the Marines, unfortunately out of Camp June, they used a Skorsky helicopter that had the engines that was on the ground, but it sucked in air. Now think you put that in the desert, what's gonna happen? The sand gonna get in, clog the machine. That's why the people got killed. Yeah, 79. Never, like yesterday.
Yeah,
We have to do better.
Iran have been a jerk for a long time.
But the human rights regime, what the law says, that I've just got to write for the past 8 weeks, that we have treaties with people, but we want to impose our will upon people. They want to impose their will upon us because they're balance of power. But we think it should be equal. Everybody should have the same power.
Well, sure. It's just, it's over land, it's over oil, it's over,
resources. Most of the war is about resources. I think I need to take care of my own house before I take care of somebody else's house first. But now if they're a threat to me, of course. But if you start a war with nuclear materials, which can spread with the wind.
Right. What we're supposed to do. You cannot be a sitting duck. They told us they weren't willing to negotiate. I don't understand why people don't understand. Like I said, I don't know a lot of historical background. I mean, somewhat. But nobody wants to do that stuff. Nobody wants to do that.
That's part of the balance of power.
It's like the best defense is offense.
Always.
And people don't understand that. All they see is, don't get me. You're so
when you say that.
It's people are doing that. They need to stop and look at all the facts. But,
yeah, we
I think we're horrible. I don't.
The reason
the movement right now, I don't understand it.
In Islam, where we messed up in 1982, 79. The next one was 82. Between the 80s, Afghanistan, when the Taliban was fighting the Mujahideen, which we was helping. Russia was on the other side. We gave weapons to them in Afghanistan. Then we pulled out, left everything.
Oh God.
So,
you talking about a year ago or something?
No, this way back. I'm in the military, and I'm like, well, why would we need spare parts, but we left them over there? Who am I to say this? Then when we put our feet on the ground, 1982, we had to go to Lebanon, to Beirut. As an American who's non-Muslim, is considered haram, which is Arabic for like illegal, unauthorized, which means you can die. We put American soldiers on the ground in an Arabic country, which really said we was spitting at their religion. So that's when they got all the people started coming together to fight, because we was going against the Quran, which we wasn't. It's just they put us in a building. They killed 254 Marines, blew up the building with a bomb. 1982. I was in the military. I'm like, well, now what we gonna do? And there was first recon out of Valerie June. First, I just saw those guys 3 months prior in Panama, Central America. So when you see this, it's because our foreign policy does not take in concern your religion, your culture. We got to do all that at the table, not just one part of it. Bring everybody together. I just wrote another paper on that about the African Methodist Episcopal Church and all the religions get together to try to come up with a comprehensive plan that includes religion into foreign policy. Because a lot of times they're fighting because of their religion.
Wow.
We call them terrorists. They call themselves freedom fighters.
Ah.
You are on our territory. So I knew. I named my kids with Arabic names because I wanted something different when they went to school, but I studied Islam. I studied Baha'i-ism.
Interesting.
Yeah, I studied. My mother had a library in the house. So I just read. Why do they think like that? Because they believe that Allah, anybody else who's not Islam, is an infidel. So in Iran, the Ayatollah, who's the supreme guy, being
right.
God on earth to them, they believe in fighting till they die. And they just put out a edict, EDIs.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah, he put out a warrant to all Americans yesterday.
Oh,
We're
no,
gonna-
I don't know that.
We are going to attack any American. So I tell people all the time, don't just pick up to go overseas. Know where you're going. What's the political, what's the climate like?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Well, I'm just going to go there because I got a vacation I had for 2 years.
Turkey.
But you met
Not Turkey, that's a little too close for me.
Istanbul. I was going to, right before COVID came out, they were sending me over to, oh God, for the school, for VCU, was going to let me go over to learn Arabic for a year. And they had to cancel because of COVID.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. Like, yeah, I studied a
You
little bit.
wanted to learn, okay?
I was going to do a job with the State Department.
Wow.
Yeah. But then they had to cancel everything because of COVID. Huh. But you have to know why they having a fight. What's the fight about? There's many reasons,
Right.
but mainly it's because
oil, land, power.
mainly it's because they think we disrespecting their religion, which to them they believe in dying for. Now, most people ain't gonna die for Christ, but Christians, I'm just going to church.
No, yeah.
Them, they going all the way out live.
Yeah.
You have to kill them. In the morning time, they're your friend. At night, they're killing you.
Yeah.
So that's why it was hard for soldiers to work with people from another country, because we just take them at their word. Then at night, their whole plan is to kill you. We always say, don't wake up dead.
Oh my gosh, don't wake up now.
Yeah, because
Oh.
we have to have a different mindset in these wars.
Yeah, it's, you can't, and you know, you can try to negotiate with people like that, but there's no negotiation.
There's no negotiation.
No.
They just say, we want you to stay out of our
That's
land,
right.
and you can't tell me how to run my house. That's what it's.
Right.
That's when it's in foreign policy. The balance of power is the main thing. The national interest. After that is human rights, which is dying here somewhere. So in between there, everything else human rights is here. National interest.
But you know, but the U.S. is always been.
The police of the world.
Well, yeah, but we also don't care about stuff. Do you? But just don't come over here and do us. Like do you? I mean, and you know.
The treaties. That's one of my sentences in the paper I submitted last night. Treaties were made by countries who didn't think they would apply to them. This guy named is Dr. Eric Posner out of the University of Chicago. He's the head man, international fellow. He said, we do treaties so they look good on paper. They're nothing more than window dressings. I summarize it by saying they're window dressings with no contents behind the window for the potential buyer. So the people, us, can't get anything because there's nothing really there in the treaty. There's no enforcement. So if I break a treaty, like right now, I bombed Iran, which is supposed to come up before the World Court. The United States is not a member of the World Court, so you really can't do nothing to us.
Oh wow.
So how do you get that resolved? You can't, because we're not. If we don't join, and everybody look at us as to be a leader, so if we're not part of that, it has no legitimacy.
Okay. And there's NATO though. Yeah.
President Trump took the funding, remember, because we paying all the bills for everybody for the last 50 years. We pay billions.
I mean, people. I don't know. Like, if you take these issues on itself and not look at who's doing. I mean, you know, it some of it makes sense.
A lot of sense. I was in the military. I'm telling you. Why were they getting $1 billion?
Well, exactly.
And we're defending them.
Yes.
I don't get that.
And
So
that's why I don't understand. People don't I don't think half the people know. And I admit I don't know a lot, but I try to keep up on what seems, you try to listen and try to, understand, the reasoning. But people don't want to. It's almost like they don't want to. They just want to.
They have opinions instead of facts. I tell me.
They have what?
They have opinions. I got an opinion of this, how this, but you got to have facts. It got to be fact based, peer reviewed, scholarly research.
I just don't understand. I'm not saying I agree with everything on either side,
Right.
but for some of these things, I go, well, how could Doge be a bad thing? I don't understand.
Because you're gonna catch people been doing something illegal for a long time and they're going to jail.
But why does the Democratic Party, for example, hate Doge?
Because they're gonna find out it gave $1 billion to Stacey Abrams to run for office in Atlanta. $1 billion.
I'm talking about the regular people, not people that don't know that detail. Okay, I'm talking about just regular
because they're
people
not.
that don't know about Stacey Abrams.
They're not Democrat. They're Republican. It's just Democrat against Republican.
No.
Yeah.
It seems like the Democrats, for example, with the Doge, were pissed off. Were ticked off about the Doge.
Right.
I'm thinking, how could you possibly be upset about somebody trying to skim the fat financially?
Because I got my hand in the pot too. You're gonna catch me.
I'm talking about regular people. Regular people.
It's
in their 20s.
Polarized. I just heard them say that they're bad. You don't know if they're bad.
That's what I'm saying. How could anybody see that what their goal was to trim
the fat,
ridiculous spending,
the pork bellies?
I'm talking, yeah. I just, this is what blows my mind.
And he's talking about giving a check back to the people
with a microphone. They don't know.
Of course not. And he's talking about giving a check back to people that of all this money they was taking, wasting, we're gonna put it back into America.
Ain't that amazing? I mean,
you don't want to check?
I'm trying to figure out how not to like that. That's what I'm saying. That's why I take issues, not person, not party, just issue. If people did that, I don't even know what would happen. We'd have a third party, I guess. Maybe.
I wrote a paper on that, the political side. Yeah, the ones who really paying attention to what's actually going on.
These 20-some-year-olds and 30-something-year-olds, just regular people.
You remember when we went to school? We used to have to take civics. They don't have to take that anymore. Remember, we had to learn civics about the government. We had to learn this.
Yeah.
Home ec and all this. We had to learn about how the government works. What are the constitutions? They don't do that no more. So they just assume I got it off Facebook. It got to be true, or social media.
No, they just hate certain things. I don't.
Gen Z.
Talk about it. And once you are skewed, everything is filtered.
Tunnel vision.
You can't. It's just. I'm just trying to figure out each issue, and I don't understand for the other side, for example, some things. So
That's why we have free will. We are democracy.
Parties are ridiculous.
We're democracy.
Parties are ridiculous. It's just, it blows my head. It blows my head off. You can't tell people that they're going to lose their jobs if they're not taking a shot, but then you're going to open the border. Does that make any sense? Anyway, that's just one issue.
I did security, so I was like, the
the
border's been open. You can go to, I lived in Texas. People just come across the border. The water's this tall. You can walk across. It's not like you got to swim in some place.
One day last week, I believe it was, they had 0 people come over. It's like 0.
Because as soon as you get over, you're going to get on a plane and go back.
I mean, I'm not saying I agree with all the way. Like I said, there's a lot of wheels turning, and it's a lot of, anyway.
I believe, me personally, being biased, I've seen a lot of people, I've seen a lot of stuff happen where our national security was involved, because that was my job.
God,
and when you see, I think the paper, national interest has to be at the top. I wrote it's called, when I wrote the paper on the FISA court, Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, where they have the 13 judges go and decide who can get deported to Guantanamo Bay, should they have due process.
Right.
You have to sometimes let go of individual freedoms for the whole, for the good of the whole.
There you go.
That's my paper. Because I
right.
want my unit to live, not die, because we got a law that's got our hands handcuffed when they'll shoot at me.
Yeah.
And so when I wrote the paper, the FBI agent, he was like, you think that? I said, of course I wrote that. I was in the military. Well, now I told him, 82nd Airborne Division, blah, blah, blah. He was like, well, I did submarine stuff, and what you wrote Makes a whole lot of sense. We have to put down individual freedoms in order for the collective, for the good of the whole.
Absolutely.
So we can pick that up later on, but you want us to live, all us to die.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, I want us to live.
You're exactly right.
If I got to kill one person to save 30,
that's right.
I'm pulling the trigger.
That's
my job.
Yeah, that's just common sense.
Yeah,
Just common sense, right?
yeah, that was the psychiatrist said. Would you pull the trigger? Of course I would. I mean, I have to deal with God. Me and him will talk about, but I think he won't get mad because I'm saving people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, God loves us, man. What do you do this? He be like, you pass. The other friend went, I kill everybody. He be like, oh, you don't pass.
Yeah.
We have to be selective on what we do. The good of the country. Like right now, that the B-2 bombers and all this going on, the only concern I have is that once you hit a nuclear site, even though it's got the hardened concrete and the steel, if anything starts leaking, it takes a while to close it. A fissure. If it gets into that structure, that radiation, in the Middle East, the wind's going to blow it. It's a long way to get across the ocean, but those people over there, it's going to, like Hiroshima, Nagasaki, it's going to become a dead zone, like Chernobyl. So he just said, all Americans, you're targets now, the Ayatollah. I'd like to see you come over here to Virginia.
You just don't understand. No. Nobody wants to do this stuff.
I'm going to play golf today. I'm going to go hit a couple balls so I can get some off my mind and think and see if I can work out the sand.
People are just more into being political than they are looking at what we're doing. And
yeah, I belong to this party. I belong to America. I don't know if you notice or not, but when we raise our hand, it's not to a policy, to a party. It's to the country.
There you go.
As a whole.
Yeah.
You can have your own thoughts. I have my own. That's fine. We can live together, but I'm not gonna force my opinion on you. You don't force yours on me. And I think that's what freedom is.
Yeah.
So we can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But that don't mean you have to take a gun to hurt me.
Oh, the guys this morning at Burger King.
Oh, they was gone. I guess they had jobs this morning, but it was only the girls inside. It was like when the two people, the back door was open. It was kind of strange. But I just got a juice and a sandwich. Just came over here and looked at my computer. But it's getting.
They don't always meet up here.
Every day. That's why I went out and see them. It's like, maybe they had to work this morning. Because usually they come in with the knee pads on. They go to work when they leave. And maybe they had an early job this morning.
Oh, I got
They do, I guess, home repair, home renovations.
Oh, is that right?
Mm.
Oh, who do they work for?
They work for themselves.
Really? I don't think people could know that much different stuff. Like, you know, sheetrock and all that. How would you know?
My brother does all that. The one I just left in Georgia, he does sheetrock, wire.
Really?
That's his talent. His talent is not for managing money.
Oh, so he makes pretty good money?
$400,000.
What, a year?
Average.
A year?
And he wastes $300. Yeah, I got to bring you the picture. I take a picture.
He could take 1 year of not spending much and put that away, and then just go back to living, whatever.
Make this make sense. His wife is 20 years older than him. She's from Boston. She's from Boston. They got met up, and she owns condos in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and in Boston. She let her sister live in the one in Boston.
Oh my God.
She's 78. She has no children. Her father's gone. Her mother's gone. Only person in her life is my brother, who is not doing
He's only
right.
58.
And he's not doing anything for the marriage, I'm thinking. He's more of a burden than he is of a blessing.
Oh.
And that's why we was talking about that. And he comes home when he gets ready. He gets paid $20,000. He'll come home and he got 5 left. And she said, I can't take that. She said, when I was younger, I ended up being in a foster home. My father grew up in a foster home. I've done something with my life. What he's doing is making it hard on my life, And I said, Paul, she's 78, man. What are you doing? If you're not going to do right by her, it's not up to me to tell you to leave her, but you should let her have her peace.
Yeah. And
she sat down and talked to the table and said, I try to tell you, brother, I'm not telling him anything wrong, but I can't wait up at night not knowing if he's coming home or not.
Oh my gosh, what is he doing?
Finding other women who
There you go.
And
she needs to kick her to the curb.
Yeah.
Sorry, no offense.
No,
No
listen,
offense.
listen.
I'm not into cheating. You gotta cheat, let's just divorce. If you're gonna cheat.
That's what she said. She wants a divorce. So I went down and talked to them. They wanted to. I said,
Like, quit cheating. Just get divorced and then cheat. I mean, not cheat. Divorce and then separate. Then do whatever you want. You don't
right.
while you're-
Leave her out of this. And so it was.
I just hope he doesn't get a bunch of her stuff, but he will. Got no.
He can't. They got a.
Oh, they have a prenup.
But
good for her.
she just, because her life was so bad, she just want peace in her life.
Yeah.
And he's giving her hell.
Yeah. Oh.
And I'm like, D, are you sure you're in the same family? Because we don't do stuff like this. Because, this lady needs help. So right now they switched it over where she can handle the money. She gives him allowance. He owes her $80,000. She gave me $80,000 to buy the house they in Georgia. So she said, just give me back my $80,000. I don't need no interest, and we'll go our separate ways. He doesn't want to. If he does that, he has nowhere really to go because he's not a good money manager.
So what did you go down for? Like a family reunion?
No, we just get together every now and then and talk. They'll come up this way when he's working up there.
Okay.
So, I just needed a little break, get away. I was writing papers, and
Yeah.
it gave me a chance to think about my research question, which I couldn't come up with one. I had a writer's block. So I got a question. I did the paperwork while I was there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it came to me. I was riding in the road where I got to write about. Sometimes you get a block.
Yeah.
And the teacher, you got to have a 4-part research question and go through and do all 4, come up with a nice conclusion, bibliography, footnotes, Turabian format, Chicago, so I had to get that done. I wrote 20 pages. 2 papers. I did 4 papers.
Do what?
I did 4 papers this weekend.
How does one do that? Seriously.
Yeah, I sat down. I did the skeleton. I did my outline. I put in what I thought. I found my references to go into that from 2022 to 2025 from Liberty University Library and the Defense Institute, all these places. I put in my references.
Yeah.
I went back and spell checked it, looked at it, and I had made sure I had enough pages, title page, abstract.
Yeah.
I had my conclusion, introduction. I put in my transitional sentences from paragraph to paragraph, looked at it, read it to myself, and I said, that's enough. It only had to be enough for you to do a final paper. So that was like your initial. Oh. So I got all that in there. So I didn't have to have 100 pages. Right, I didn't have to have 100 pages. Okay. So now this week, what I'm working on today, I'm gonna go put a little bit, probably about 50 putts, 50 out the sand, just to think. Yeah. Then I'm gonna start doing my outline. I already got the outline for the final paper. I'm gonna start putting in more meat into it as I find. I got a lot from the news. I'm writing about how can the churches be a force in foreign policy for the United States when dealing with other countries who have different religions. You need someone who's versed in Islam, who's versed in Arabic, or who's versed in Baha'ism. You need to add those people to the pot. Now let's do a think tank. We got all these think tanks, but we don't have the people that's representing the people that we are trying to write a foreign policy for. And everybody don't want you to tell them how to run their house.
Right.
You got to bring them to the table as well.
Right.
But because there's no central world government, every country has sovereignty. You can't tell me what to do. That's why we can't tell Iran what to do. They're sovereign. But we can tell them they can't bother us, give them a little threat, But the moment you drop a bomb, all bets off. Yeah. Until you close the border, because anybody can come in the country. Suicide bombing in America would not be good. 9/11 was just the tip of the iceberg. They never would have got bin Laden. They'd have kept doing that because they were successful.
Wow. Oh, the next couple of years will be interesting. Probably not a good way.
You think?
Oh my gosh.
They have this show, The Lion of Judah was talking about the biblical prophecies. Ezekiel lining up with what's going on today. Iran is modern day Persia. King Cyrus, who gave Nehemiah permission to go back to build a wall in Jerusalem. So they're trying to correlate.
Oh, really?
Right. And so you can see what's actually going on. This is already foretold. Right. So all we got to do is get yourself ready. Are you ready? And I was like, I got to go look at that today. See if I can find it. Maybe I can put some else in my paper, because they know the prophecy. They'll tell them better than you can. In Iran, about Arabic. I saw the guy at Walmart when I got back. Verizon store paying my bill. He's a Muslim, but they're offshoot of Orthodox Muslim. He's a Nation of Islam Muslim.
Oh, yeah.
Then they done split up now between, right? He was telling me, he was kind of upset, and I was like, I'm just asking a question so I can make it right on my paper. They broke up when Elijah Muhammad died. His son Wallace took over. Farrakhan came in, flipped the Mars back over to the old ways of segregation compared to Wallace Muhammad inclusion. So now they got these two offshoots fighting each other within the main organization. So he gave me some more information right on my paper. So how do you address that? You got to have one from each party or people from each one of them to come together, because they believe that it should be this way. You believe it should be that way. The Sunni and the Shiite Muslims are fighting because the Shiites want to do original Islam, and the Sunni, they want to be a little more modern. So we have to, put all that together, and when we talk to people culturally, and maybe we can't find peace, a middle ground. We just respect you, you respect us. I won't tell you what to do, you won't tell me what to do. As long as you're not threatening us or our allies, we'll do the same. But China, Russia, you heard of BRIC? Brazil, Russia, India, and China, they're getting off the American dollar, which would destabilize. They say the Wall Street, all the economic structure in America, because they're normally using the dollar, which is the main money around the world. That's a threat to America. So that's my research. I had a chance to do that while I was riding. Think about it. But, so I don't have money in the bank, so to speak. I just have property. The dollar's not worth nothing overseas. Brazil, Russia, India, China, they're using their own money, which means that we are not the player that we used to be. Financial.
I don't know how to get people on the same page.
They won't.
I don't think we can. I just don't think we can.
We can't.
That's sad because
you see, conflict is inevitable.
If people could sit and just really act like they're in the middle for like a day or two and just watch just things like people make accusations, but they haven't. But there's video to discredit what they're thinking. Do you understand this video to show? But with AI now, it's gonna be. I don't know if the new when we get into AI screwing around with like news starts screwing around with AI or something. But 60 Minutes already got caught. I mean, 60 Minutes straight up got caught editing. Are you kidding? And they're still in the air.
Of course.
I don't know if there's any reprimand. I don't know who would reprimand them, but
the FCC.
And
they probably gave him $1.
It and believe it now. I mean, I don't understand.
Orson Welles, remember? Mars, where the invasion. Remember, Orson Welles did it. Everybody thought we had a invasion from outer space. They have so much on TV, like the voiceovers. You can see a person and change whatever they say.
Yeah, right.
So
Well,
he said it. If you wasn't there, you really don't know if he said it or not. But I saw it on TV.
Yeah. They've
been doing propaganda for years. Even the military, that's all we say, propaganda. Whatever we saw in the military was not actually happening what we saw on TV.
I guess I'm just a little shocked that people aren't outraged that they got that done to them, that they changed an interview. I mean, what? Like my hair blows on. That's major. I took a political candidate and edited the interview. Like what? Like I don't know. Are somebody suing them?
They should. They have no credibility.
Is Trump suing them or something?
They should.
I don't know if Trump is, but I feel like somebody's
defamation of characters, slander. It was in print, libel.
False, something. I don't know. Like
they've been doing that for years.
Oh my gosh,
That's why a lot of people don't want to have no comment. They just tell you, say no comment, no comment.
Because they can put it in a way.
Right.
You're right.
No comment.
Yeah.
Throw your hand up so they know. Obviously, he was saying no.
When asked, whatever.
What do you have to say about this? The two-part question I always give you. You was caught over here and said, so what actually happened? No comment.
It is despicable. People have no moral compass. It's getting really.
It makes you think, did we ever really have a moral compass, and what was it? Because my moral compass might not be what his moral compass is. Because now sin, they done made sin like it's the best thing to do. I'm like, we never would have done that back in my day with my parents. You know, where do you get that from? Well, it's okay. My mother let us do it. Your mother let you do it? Yeah, because she said her mother let her do it. So, but that doesn't mean it's right. You know, if I say something to you and it's not right, it's not right. I say, okay, I got that. So if someone else tells you something that's not right, it's not right. I got that. Now, it was some little kid. I was somewhere at a store and the little kid was hollering, raising, trying to hit. I said, why would you hit your mother? Before I thought about it. She looked at me like, you can't talk to my child. I mean, my mom would.
Wait, did you say that?
Yeah, it just came out my mouth.
Oh, you did? He hit his mother.
Yeah. I say,
how old was he?
probably about
3?
6.
6?
He still would have got a beating. My mom would have bought a belt out the store, beat you with it.
Oh, my God.
But they like, and you wonder why kids are killing their parents, man.
I know.
This kid that was shown on TV killed his mother because she wouldn't take him to the prom. 16. Didn't it?
I didn't see that one.
Killed his mother. She wouldn't take him to the prom.
Wow.
My friend in Orlando, Florida, her name was Cinderella Hatton. Two most beautiful girls in town. The Hatton, Hattn family. Cinderella. She had a son that wanted to use her car. She wouldn't let him. He shot his mother. That was one of the first time I ever heard of a child killing their parent. Yeah, because she wouldn't let him use the car.
And they're upset about the Menendez brothers.
They letting them out, supposedly.
They are.
They said that they might have been sexually abused by their father. They didn't take the evidence that they should have.
Yeah.
So now they go back and get the inheritance that the government thought they was going to get to keep.
Oh my God.
It was worth like
I
$20
don't
million.
understand why, because they've been in there 25?
Almost 30 years, right?
Okay.
That was back in the 90s.
I know other people get 20 years for murder. I've never understood how you can kill somebody and you get to get out in 20 years. I'm sorry. They're gone. They can't get out in 20 years. Like what? Like what?
7. Some of them get out in 5.
What?
Then some of them
Yeah,
get.
in my head.
Well, now the Virginia Sentencing Commission sent a letter to the guy who I was looking at his paperwork, went to jail at 16, that his cousin actually did the murder because he's mentally retarded, 3.9 GP grade average. And they're trying to go back to let him out. They just passed a law in 2020 that applies for him. He's been in prison for 30 years. He went when he was 16. And his cousin who actually did the murders is free in North Carolina, which I think they should go get him, put him in jail, and pay this man for being in jail for 30 years. Yeah, 16. I talked to him on the phone Saturday. You could hear it like he's not cognitive. And I was like, I said, did you read anything about your case? I said, you understand what I'm saying? He's like, I think so. I was like, 16. He's been there 30 years.
You see the one about kids that, I think they were teenagers who dragged the woman, like they carjacked this woman.
And drug her down the road?
And she couldn't get out of her seatbelt, and they just went in. I don't understand how that worked, because how did they drive the car if she was in the seat with the seatbelt? Or maybe when she got out, she was still hooked.
Right, hooked in.
Okay, and dragged her. They came into court laughing.
Those are demons.
They came into court like not even cocky, it was just laughing.
Demons.
And then they thought, what?
They're demons. That's what we call them.
That's pretty.
Them demons.
That's pretty.
That's evil.
That's evil. And then the judge said, "You're going to be trying as
Adult.
adults," and they were like, they thought they were going to get out in a few years, like gas or detention. I don't know.
It used to be 1 year. Juvenile detention. They let you go home. Let you stay until you get to be 18.
What happened to you that, like, what happened to them? When I say you, them. Hey, you would, and laugh, and like, you're so, even as a psych person, I mean, what happened to you that you have lost? I understand that can happen, that you become a sociopath. I mean, you don't have the remorse, you don't have anything. It's just not there to develop. I mean, but I just.
Maybe they got to lobotomize.
She was, anyway.
I can't.
Anyway. All right, let's go back to you. And you know, how you're doing and where you need to go with things.
I'm doing all right.
Open-ended question.
Yeah, I had a
Very open-ended.
good debriefing weekend, you know.
Debriefing.
Yeah, you know,
Decompress.
Yeah.
Decompress.
I've been thinking I'm in the military. Had a debrief. What went on? I think I'm in a good place. I can get better. I'm trying to give, you know, to others. You know what I mean? Trying to do some charity that can keep me from focusing on all this that I got going on in my life. Because once I leave here, I got to go get some paperwork done from the VA where they fit.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, so I'm trying to. I started my ministry. I'm trying to help people get back to their homes for reconciliation, a mercy ministry, so to speak. As a young guy that's trying to get to Florida, so I found out I can get him a train ticket for 117. So I'm gonna try to send him home and, you know, spend time on. Yeah, you know, he said he hasn't seen his family in years because of drugs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I'm gonna send
the drugs.
Yeah, he been on drugs. He got hurt, and it made him take pain pills. So he's still he's on the corner panhandling. You on 9 Mile Road. Now he's on Laburnum. So I met him, and you know, I try to feed him when I see him and talk to him. You know, get his story. Homeless. He lives in a tent behind Goodwill. So I told him, you know what I'm saying, would you like, he said, I would like to go home.
You could choose to go to a program tomorrow, today.
Yeah, they have so many people. They have so many people. So he said he just want to get home. So I was going to stop, park my car, we're going to talk, call the Florida.
How does he get his drug?
No, he said that's what happened to him. He got addicted because he got hurt.
Okay,
I guess
so
the pain
he's
pills.
not anymore? He doesn't take drugs?
He's just out there he just want to go home now. Yeah, I get the
ticket. I want to get a job. I'm sorry.
He looks really messed up walking, so he would have to have a job where he didn't have to do a lot of physical stuff, I think. I guess Goodwill.
Get the VA help him get a
He's not a vet.
Okay.
He's just a regular person.
Okay.
Got the big tattoo of a dolphin on his chest from Florida, Miami. So,
are you kidding?
Yeah, so I knew he's a fan of Miami Dolphins, and I told him I lived in Miami, so his name is Robert, and today I'm gonna stop by and see if we can call his family and say, man, would you like for your son to come home? I'm gonna help him come home.
Why did they come up and get him? Come on.
He hasn't called him. He said he hasn't talked to him in a while.
Does he have a phone?
No phone.
Okay.
Reconciliation.
I'll see people panhandling and they get their phone out. I'm like.
Or they leave you and go get in the Mercedes across the street, make him a money. But he doesn't have a phone. He lives behind Goodwill. So I told him I'm gonna try to help him. I called his family, see if they want him home. I get him a Amtrak ticket from Richmond and let him get home.
Round trip?
No, one way.
Oh.
And he said he wants to go home. So if the family said we want him, I help him.
There you go.
That'd be my deed for the week.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people I see sometimes I just want to write a check. You know, like I mean, not that I have.
But you know what? It said if you cast your bread upon the water, many days will come back to you. What you get, people always come back. I used to wake up. The government had to pay me money. I had like $20,000 in the bank. I'm like, where'd that come from?
Oh, isn't that funny?
Right.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
I've heard somebody else had some issues with, I forget what they different things, and something would happen, and somehow money would. Some bill was messed up and they
Refund.
back or something.
So they got to pay me now for the VA. I'm waiting. So when I get in, I'm gonna pay 5 golf courses. Yep, I'm gonna go out to San Diego and play and work my way back to Providence,
Oh, okay.
Florida, and then from Florida I want to hit Iowa, and then DC.
Well, don't play golf and you're gonna burn up
No,
in those. But it's
No, I got it.
I know your golf shorts.
I got my shoes in the car.
Yeah. All right.
Well, Miss Valerie, you be blessed.
I'll see you next. Wait, let's see. Next week. Yeah, next week.
Yes, sir. Next
Okay.
Monday. All right, thank you.
All
You
right.
be blessed.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Oh, I didn't sign this morning because it wasn't out here.
Gotcha.
Want me to sign it?
Nope, I put you down.
All right, thank you. Be blessed.
Have a great day.
All right, thank you.